Husky Nation, welcome into the second episode of NIU Basketball Weekly. I'm Andy Garcia. Glad you could join us again. And hopefully you were able to see the first one last week with head coach Lisa Carlson. We talked to Trenton Hankerson and also talked a little volleyball with Ray Gooden. If you've not seen episode 1, right here on this YouTube page, NIU Athletics, you can go back and see episode number 1. But it's episode 2 this week. Looking forward to talking to interim head coach, NIU men's basketball, Lamar Chapman, and talk some women's basketball with Mikayla Brandon, the junior from Bourbon, Illinois. She's going to join us. She's 5th in the MAC in rebounding. And finishing off, Ryan Ludwig, head coach of wrestling. Their season is underway. He's going to talk about wrestling and see what his expectations are for this year. So we've got a busy show coming up here on NIU Basketball Weekly. Let's start it off. We were joined now by NIU men's basketball interim head coach Lamar Chapman. Coach, I appreciate the time. Thank you very much. And I know you guys are on pause right now, but how's everybody feeling? I know everyone's chomping at the bit, want to get back to games, want to get back to practice, but how's everybody feeling right now?
Thanks, Andy, for having me, first of all. Guys are guys are disappointed. Guys want to play. Guys want to be back in the gym. They want to be in the weight room, be around their teammates and competing. So guys are a little bummed out about that. But as I told them before, and I'll continue to tell them, not a whole lot we can do. Got to follow protocol, try to get everybody healthy before we all come back together.
And I know it's just a psyche of what this season's been like, right, Coach? I mean, having to go through the COVID and not knowing if you'll be able to play. And now you've got to get your mindset where, okay, we're not playing right now, but I got to keep myself in basketball shape. So when we come back, I'll be ready to go.
Right. And those who are negative who can play should take advantage of skill development, the weights, getting in the gym, shots, ball handling, conditioning, those types of things. And those who are at home quarantining have to be creative again, like, same thing this summer and this fall with home workouts, trying to stay sharp as they can, just doing the best that they can.
What we've seen from your squad as of late, Coach, it seems like you guys are playing free and easy. Have you seen that as well? It seems like the offense has improved. It seems like guys are knocking down shots and they're shooting with confidence that we've seen as of late.
Yeah, well, some of it helps when you got 8 guys, so you're going to play. So that's part of it. But we've tried to do extra shooting. We've tried to get scoring opportunities early in the clock, trying to get some transition baskets. And we're encouraging guys. A big part of basketball is taking and making rhythm shots. That's part of your offense. And we talk about playing after the play, which is very important because very few plays work to perfection how you draw them up. So it's the play after the play. If somebody drives and engage 2 guys and kick, you have to take that shot. And you have to, obviously, you want to make that shot. So you got to take and make open rhythm shots.
I want to go back to Akron and the win. It was a good win for the team, really a balanced effort against Akron. Darius being able to get that last second shot to fall. I want to go back because you guys have been working up to that point. And it had to be a good feeling now that you saw some success and you got to win against a pretty good Akron team.
Yeah, it was good to see it pay off. Your preparation, you do your scouts, you do your walkthroughs, you do all of that. Everything preparing for a basketball game, and then we've had our shortcomings this year where we're giving a lead away. So it's good to see our guys hang on, stick together, play smart down the stretch, and obviously a big shot by Darius. And at the end of 40 minutes, you actually get a win. So obviously the locker room is different, the mood is different, then the practice in that couple of days are different. So it's good. Like we battled, we had a slow start, we took the lead, and we didn't give it up. So that was good to see.
And it was great to see you and the team cheer for your first win. You've moved from one chair to another, and I know there's a lot more that goes into being an interim head coach. How has it been for you since you've moved over and had the new title?
It's getting every day. Every day it's getting better, more comfortable with it. I haven't been a head coach since high school days of 2003. So you slide over one seat in the middle of the season. It's a difficult transition, but one that I'm fine with. I'm fine with it. I'm getting more comfortable by the day. I'm trying to tweak some things along the way with the team. Myself and the coaching staff is just trying to stay together, like working together collectively on the common goal, which is to get our guys better and compete. But sliding over one seat, a whole lot comes with that, just on the court, off the court with, different calls and decisions you have to make. Just a lot, you got a lot more you have to deal with as a head coach.
Your background, you've coached at Toledo, Central Michigan, Stony Brook. I want to give you the opportunity because you mentioned you were a head coach in high school. Talk about where you've been in the past so far that's got you to this point right now at NIU.
Well, like I said before, my coaching career started back home in Muskegon Heights, Michigan. Right there, my job to pay the bills was I was director of recreation for the city for 8 years. I coached freshmen for 4 years and assisted varsity for 2. Then I was the head varsity coach for 2 years, and had a good run there as a head varsity basketball coach. And then I went on to Central Michigan and worked for Jay Smith. They were recruiting one of my players, Eddie Spencer. He had a spot open on his staff. We had a relationship. I went there. I did my 3 years down there with Jay. Got a ton of experience coming from high school to the Division I level. Then a good friend of mine, Mike Ingram, Lance Community College coach, is good friends with Stan Joplin. And he had a spot opening. I interviewed for that. I went down to Toledo, 06 to 08. Had a good 2 years down there with Coach Joplin, who's a good man, very offensive-minded head coach. And we won the MAC. We were 14-2 in the MAC that year. And really thought we were going to get to the NCAA tournament. We were upset by Miami, Ohio in the semifinals. So unfortunately, didn't work out. Like 2 years after that, Coach Joplin was fired. And funny story, I didn't even know Steve Peichel. And he was at Stony Brook at the time. And a 631 number kept popping up on my phone. And I was like, who is this guy? And we started talking. And, when somebody gets fired, everybody starts hand picking, or the guys are like vultures on the recruit, seeing who's going to stay, are you going to stick with your commitment, that type of thing. So I recruited 2 kids coming in that recruiting class, and they spoke with them, and they said, oh, Coach Chapman recruit us, this, that, and other. So he and I talked. He flew me out to New York. I think it was in May of 2008. Picked me up at LaGuardia, took me out to Long Island, showed me around. I needed a job, never talked about money. Until I had to make my final decision, obviously, because you're looking at the rent in New York. So,
Right.
So you have to. So at some point in time, you got to ask about the money, because some of those 1-bedroom apartments were a little steep and didn't look like much. But so you had to adjust to that. So the rest is history. I went down there I had a great 8-year run with Coach Peichel. We did some good things at Stony Brook. A lot of winning, a lot of success. Then he left and went to Rutgers. I stayed there 1 year with Coach Bowles, another good guy to work for in Coach Bowles. And then Coach Mine and I go way back to the 80s, back in the Lansing days. And my uncle was a barber there and cut those guys' hair. I used to come back there for the summer, spend 2 weeks in Lansing before I went back home to Muskegon and started working. And I went to Lane College in Jackson, Tennessee. So we would get out in May. Michigan State used to seem like they was in school forever. They used to get out in June. They was on the quarters. So I know Mine way back. So he called and said, hey, Chap, got this spot open. You get first crack at it. You want to get back closer to home, get back in the MAC. Thought about it, and I missed a lot. Like being out on the East Coast for 9 years, I missed a lot of holidays. I missed a lot of birthdays. I missed a lot of anniversaries. You just miss a lot. And I've come from a big family. Just so everybody knows, my mom was one of 18. So my grandmother had 14 girls and 4 boys. So
talk about fighting for a rebound. You're just fighting for a plate, right?
It was rough in the Chapman family, man. Thanksgivings, Christmas, all of the family reunions, picnics. So I come from a large family, so it's good to be back. Now I can just throw some stuff in the back of the truck, 3.5 hour drive. But I came here. So Miami offered me the job. I came in, they flew me in, we walked, looked around. Because all I know from playing here in the Central Michigan days in Toledo was just pull up to the back of the combo, get out, play, jump back on. I can't even remember where we stayed, to be honest. Like I was looking around, like, where did we stay when we came here? So, and so that's a little bit of how I ended up here. But so it's been like 18 years of Division I basketball, but a lot of other little things along the way, working in the rec department with elementary and summer league programs, youth football every Saturday, and elementary basketball, softball leagues, taking care of the parks with, picnic tables and taking reservations for, the pavilion. Like it's just been a lot. So, but that's my 18 years of experience in being here at the Division I level.
And now, like interim head coach at NIU, and you want to tweak some things, right? Some things are put in order, but you want to make some things in your way. And we've seen that on the offensive side. Coach, the players have talked about little bit tweaks here and there, and we've seen some changes and we've seen some production from them.
Yeah, I think one of the things, and I say it all the time, there's not an assistant coach in the country or assistant anybody that's going to do the same. You can be assistant principal, you can be assistant bank manager. You're going to take some things from your boss, and some things you would do different. And one of the things we talked about was shrinking the playbook a little bit and playing a little faster. Now, one thing we've dipped on our defense. Our defensive numbers need work. Like we've gotten better on offense, but I'll definitely like to see our defense get better. And part of me want to say we only got 8 guys, so it's hard to play the way you want to play. I like to use that as an excuse, but we got to get better defensively, get our numbers down to where we have a chance to win all of our games or win games.
We know some of the, Trenton Hankerson, Tyler Cochran, we know some of those guys have been successful, but Zul Queth, Justin Lee, they've really had some nice games as of late.
Yeah, we've been waiting on Zul. Like, we recruited him out of Pratt. We've been waiting on Zul to come around, and it's not because he hadn't put the time in or the confidence, anything like that. I think the high level of play, his conditioning was a little slow to come around, but he stays extra. He gets up the shots. He'll come early. He shoots them in practice. So it's just a matter of him knocking a few down, getting some confidence with his shot. And nobody, myself and even with Coach Miney, nobody ever discouraged him from shooting the basketball. So we used to yell, like, that's a shot. Like, Zul, that's your shot. And Justin Lee's case, it's just a matter of health with him and his body, how healthy he is. We knew when we got him, he was a talent. He was a skilled. More 4-3 when we got him. Now he's more 4-5 just because he's just been banged up, the knees, the back, the shins. But whenever he's healthy, gets his treatment, we can get a good 12 to 16, 12 to 18 minutes. And if he has it going like he did against Akron, then he can give you 20, 22 minutes. But more 4-5 now than 4, possibly 3 when we first got him.
Looking forward to it, Coach. I'm looking forward to talking to you in the next episode of NIU Basketball Weekly. But I wanted to get you on and let the fans just kind of hear from you and let the fans know where you come from and what your background is, because NIU is going to see a little bit of you the rest of the way, and you never know what happens after that. And looking forward to it. Get healthy, and hopefully we'll have some games coming up soon.
No question about it. We got to get healthy, and the positive is once we take the court, the next time we take the court, hopefully we'll be at full go. And give ourselves a chance to win each and every game.
Coach, appreciate the time, and I'll talk to you soon.
Andy, thanks, man. Take care.
We go from men's basketball to NIU women's basketball. We get the chance to talk to Mikayla Brandon, the junior forward from Bourbonnais, Illinois. Mikayla, it's great to have you on. I know you're a jokester. I know you love to laugh. I had to get you on. Looking forward to talking to you, and thanks for coming on this week. All right, let's talk a little basketball first before we get into the family, because I know that's important to you as well. But so far, the team's been playing well as of late. You're on a nice winning streak. Got tripped up a little bit at Toledo, Mikayla, but it seems like you guys are gelling a little bit and had a nice winning streak there.
Yeah, for sure. I think things are just coming together, and after we had the chance to regroup after the new year, we've been on the roll and going to places where we need to be.
With what the roster changed from last year, you had a lot of seniors on this squad, Mikayla, to what it is now. You've had to step up. You have a bigger role on this squad. How long has it taken you to get used to filling into what you wanted to be on this team, and do you feel comfortable with how you're playing right now?
Yeah, I definitely knew coming into this year that my role would be bigger, considering the pieces that we did lose. And I just put work in the offseason and just was ready to step up when Coach needed me to.
You had career 2 double-doubles. You had one just a couple of games ago. You feel like you've been scoring better. We know you can rebound. We'll talk more about that. But I've seen more scoring from you, and it seems like you've been able to put the ball in the basket, and you've got some confidence in your shot.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, that's a lot of off-season work, is just getting in the shots that I need to get in, and they're starting to fall finally, because the first few games they weren't. But like I said in the last post-game interview, if I don't keep shooting, coach isn't going to put me on the floor. So I just got to shoot the shots that I know I can make and usually do make. And if they don't go in, then I just got to work on that outside of the games.
I get to travel with you guys on the road and be around you guys. It seems like a pretty tight-knit crew. It seems like everyone gets along. It seems like you guys like playing with each other. Is that true?
Yeah, definitely. Even like outside of basketball and outside of workouts and all that stuff, like we all live in the same apartment building, like minus a few of the freshmen and one of the transfers who kind of had to like room late, but we all live in the same building. We all spend a lot of time together, and we just generally like to be around each other.
How did you get into basketball? I know you played a lot of sports at younger age. Why was basketball the one sport that you kind of leaned towards?
Well, I didn't start playing basketball until 7th grade, and it was kind of because I was forced to. I didn't really want to play basketball, but my mom and my school coach were friends, and my mom told me that I would be grounded if I didn't try out. So I was kind of forced to try out, and I've always been a soccer player, and so then I started to like basketball around like 8th grade. That's when I started playing AAU, and that was kind of like a crucial like training recruitment time. So I kind of had to like choose which one I wanted to focus on, and basketball was newer to me, and I was starting to like it more, so I chose basketball. And soccer, I just played like for the high school team throughout the years, but yeah, I focused training on basketball the most.
And you maybe talked about how soccer has helped you. You're such a good rebounder that soccer has helped you be a good rebounder?
Yeah, definitely. So I was a goalie for soccer, so I'm good at like reading where the ball could go or should go. So like coming off of somebody's foot, I got to be able to read which way I need to dive. Which is kind of like the same thing. The ball coming off the rim, I need to be able to read which way the ball is going to go and which way I need to take my first step.
Was there, if it wasn't basketball, would you say soccer would be the sport you play?
Yes, for sure.
I mean, their height helps you being a goalie, right?
Yes.
Did you give up a lot of goals in soccer?
I mean, not really. I was mainly a goalie when I was younger, but when I played soccer in high school, I didn't want to be a goalie because my hands were too valuable for basketball. So I couldn't risk having any kind of hand or wrist injuries because I needed to still focus on basketball. So I played the field in high school, but in grade school, yeah, I would say I was a pretty good goalie.
Listen, did you act at all when you were younger? Were you an actor? Because you're very good at defense, but you can get in front of some charges. I know you take those charges, right? And you show it off. You act it up. It's good acting. And I'm not saying I don't think you've ever committed a block. I got to be honest with you, right? But you got a little bit of acting in it. You like that on the defensive side?
I've never been in any kind of acting, but I am kind of dramatic.
Yes.
And there's a lot of acting that does go on in soccer. So,
oh, yes, absolutely.
Yes, we've learned to be pretty dramatic.
You mentioned your mom, and she's been so cool on social media. I've seen her at a lot of games. How important has your mom and the rest of your family been to the support of you being here at NIU?
Definitely my mom is the most important thing to me all around. She just does what she can to be where she needs to be for me and do like what she needs to for me. In high school, she made a lot of sacrifices for me, and she's definitely the reason I am where I am right now. And now she kind of supports me more from a distance since I'm like not at home, and she can't really she's not the one to take me to practice or the one to like pay for training. Like she's not that anymore. So she just comes to what she can and makes everything she can. And if that means she has to take off work, she will. Or if she has to drive 5 hours by herself just to come see me for the 20 minutes after the game, she's always willing to do that.
And I've seen that, Michaela. We've seen it this year in some of the games that the parents can be at. How important is that for you that to see the support you have from her, that wherever you're playing, that she's going to be there for you?
It's really important to me, especially since we're not allowed to have fans here at home. I'm not really used to playing without her in the stands because, like I said, she doesn't really miss much. And if she is missing something, there's a legit reason why she is. And I could probably count a handful of times that she's missed between now and high school. So I'm always used to seeing her face in the stands. And it's always like a calming factor knowing that like I have that support and that piece of it right there in the room with me.
Now, was she a good athlete?
No, not at all.
So she's living through you, right? You got the height. You got the moves. So she's living through you a little bit.
Yeah, she's not athletic at all. I've never played a sport. My dad, he's 6'7", so that's where I get my name from, and he was a basketball and baseball player, so that's where that comes from.
What do you like to do when you're not on the court? You get away, maybe you got your studies done a little bit. How do you kind of just relax and kind of just let everything just kind of flow a little bit when you don't have to worry about something?
I really just like to spend time with my teammates, and obviously because of COVID, I can't go home or see any other friends outside of my team. So right now it's a lot of spending time with the team and just like hanging out around the house. I have my cat at home, and we spend.
What's the cat's name?
Cat's name is Demi, but we call her Cat, so her nickname is Cat. So we spend a lot of time with her. She's a character. She's fun to be around.
Where do you think this team can go, Michaela? Again, we see all, you've got all the options. You got the outside shooting, you got the rebounding and down low. Just how good could this team be moving forward in the season?
I think we could easily win it all. I mean, we've proved with the last couple of wins that we've had that we can beat anybody. And I think at that point, it's on us and our preparation for what we do see ahead of us and just keep doing what we're doing. And that'll take us as far as we need to be.
Who's the best jokester on the team?
Jokester?
You're up there, right? A little bit.
Yeah, I'm like a low-key jokester. I'm kind of quiet. So like my close, knit people know how I am, but not everybody might know who I am. But definitely I'd probably say Erin. And I mean, she's my best friend, so she probably makes me laugh the most. And I'm around her the most out of everybody. So definitely her.
And you and Erin have played ball together for a while on the same AAU team as well. Has it been nice to have someone like Erin be around you? Not just what's going on with COVID and the situations this season, but just to have somebody around you who knows you so well like that.
Yeah, definitely. We've played together since my 7th grade year, her 8th grade year, and we have really been super close since then. And so it's really nice to have somebody who kind of knows me more than I know myself. And so having that bond together makes life a lot easier to go through when I have that person right next to me. And we say all the time, we don't know what we would do without each other. We don't know how we would survive. And even after college, we have plans to move out to the West Coast together and still continue to live in the same area.
Hey, let's get Cat more on social media. All right. We want to see more of this Cat. Let's get this Cat out there. We got to get more pub. But I appreciate the time, Michaela. Continued success. Love watching you play. And let's see if we can make a strong run and get in the postseason here this season.
Thank you.
From basketball, we talk wrestling. And we have Ryan Ludwig on, the head coach of NIU Wrestling, now in his 10th year as the head coach. Coach, it's great to get you on. I'm glad we could get you on NIU Basketball Weekly. And I have to say, you were named Co-MAC Coach of the Year last season, joining his predecessor, Dave Grant, as the only NIU coaches to earn that honor. That's pretty cool. You guys are coming off a nice year last year, and to be Coach of the Year, I know that's a huge honor for you.
Yeah, it's high praise, especially in a conference as tough as the Mid-American Conference is in wrestling. And, I'm just very fortunate to be surrounded with a great group of people in our coaching staff and our student athletes who make you look good, So that award I brought back and really presented to the team as a team award because we all got that together. So, but it certainly felt good for the program.
2 weekends in the book already for your squad. Been on the road, and just tell us how it's been so far for the squad.
Yeah, it's been interesting. A few challenges as everyone's navigating through this COVID era life. But again, feeling extremely fortunate to be out on the road and competing. So the guys were very fired up to get on the road initially a couple of weeks ago. And then again, compete with one of our rivals in Central Michigan last weekend. And although that didn't go our way on a team aspect, I thought we had some very good individual performances. And we're sitting at 2-1 right now and looking very, very much forward to this week's challenge in Missouri and Ohio down in Columbia.
What have been the positive so far that you've seen from the guys?
Well, I think we've really battled through this adversity in terms of our training consistency through the fall, through the season. So our guys have really rose up and, met the challenges in getting tested multiple times per week. Maybe having been contact traced and having to sit out for a couple of weeks and then come back and hop right back into training. So just the resilience, the positive belief that everything's going to be okay ultimately, and we're going to have this season and we're going to navigate it well, has been very impressive to my staff and I. And furthermore, I think with the level of consistency that we've been able to put together with our training, and it was a little spotty at first, I think our guys are in great shape. They're wrestling well, they're competing well, they got a great mindset about them. So, we're making strides forward every week. And we're seeing some young guys pop in and out of the lineup, which for us is a great indicator of our future as well.
It's got to be tough, Ryan, because you're one right up there for me with football, just contact. I mean, it's tough to keep everyone healthy and safe, but it seems like you guys and the health officials around with your team, you guys have done a great job just keeping that together and trying to stay in that bubble as much as you can.
It is, yes. And again, we are so thankful that, our administration at NIU, the administrators at the conference offices have worked their tails off to give us this opportunity to compete. So, we are taking that very seriously, following protocols, doing our due diligence on individual and team levels to make sure that we preserve that bubble. And we not only give ourselves a chance to compete, but, heck, for the greater good, we don't want to infect anybody else, without knowing it. So our guys are doing a fantastic job. They understand the importance and the scope of the situation, and they're handling that with a lot of maturity.
How much does your schedule have to change this year and this season? There's a lot of quad and tri meets. How's that changed in preparation when you have to do changes like that to the schedule?
Yeah, in reality, when you're having multiple matches per day, it doesn't change that much because we're used to that in tournament settings. So we don't have any tournaments this year. So really when you're looking at a tri or a quad where we wrestle, twice or 3 times per day, you could frame that up more like a tournament setting. Now the difference is they're 1-hour weigh-ins when normally you would get a 2 hours before you go out for your first match in a tournament. So guys have to be ready to compete a little bit quicker off the scale. But they know that and they're okay with that. We are on the road every event except one this year. So for us, just making sure we're mentally prepared to take our game on the road, getting used to that hotel life, all those kind of things, which for us, we're okay with it. Right. Because I think we've been sitting in one place for so long. We were happy to get something else going, maybe see something different and get on the road and have a different adventure. But it certainly is nice to be within your own hometown, and we're looking to getting back here in February and having a home event. But, again, Andy, to frame this season up anyway for us was going to be a positive. We didn't care what it looked like. We're just willing to take it on any way it comes.
And we've been hearing that from everyone. I mean, it's been such a tough and tiring way to get to this point that you guys, even if you have to be on the road, as long as you're taking on opponents and have a chance to go out there and compete, I'm sure that's what everybody's looking forward to.
Yeah, hey, buddy, we're okay with that. As long as we get to step up and wrestle, anytime, anywhere, we're good to go.
Let's talk about the roster. And you've got a strong core group coming back. You got 5 NCAA qualifiers with the team: Gage Braun, Max Irie, Isaac, Bryce West, Britt Wilson. That's a pretty nice core to have come back for this team.
Yeah, incredible core. And the talent level, the work ethic, and the leadership that those guys possess among their peers is second to none. So, they're doing a great job again leading us out this year. And again, really, if you look at those guys, that provides us with kind of a top-heavy lineup in terms of the upper weights. So the bulk of our returning NCAA qualifiers are within those weights from 165, through heavyweight, with the exception being Bryce West down low.
Britt Wilson, I don't know what other way I want to call him. I just call him a machine. I mean, he just seems to be a machine out there. I know he just is one of the standouts that you have. But if you can talk about Britt and what he's done and what he brings every time he goes on the mat.
Yeah, he is you could kind of call him a machine in the way he wrestles because he doesn't stop. There's no doubt. Now, getting to know Britt as a young man, I mean, he's anything but a machine. He's got a great personality, very, very easy guy to talk to. You can really feel his affection for his teammates. He's always bringing somebody up, bringing somebody along, and encouraging his teammates. And he's been a fantastic leader for us, and man, does he wrestle hard. So couldn't ask for a better competitor and a leader among the guys.
And you're looking to build on last year's success. We had 4 NCAA qualifiers, the most wins since the 2004-2005 season. How can you get to that next level? And I know, Matt, Coach of the Year last year, you guys had success. But what do you tell the team about, all right, we got to this point, we want to go to the next step?
Yeah, we always talk about, it's nice to succeed, but, a year older doesn't mean a year better. You have to continue to put the work in. We're obviously hungry for more. Mid-American Conference accolades are wonderful, and we are certainly celebratory of those, but what we want, Andy, we want those awards. We want to bring back hardware from the NCAA championships. We want guys on the stand as All-Americans, guys competing for national titles. So that's our progression. That's where we're headed. And that's what we believe in very much, and that's what we're going to do to get to the next level. And we think a lot of that boils down to, hey, we believe in what we're doing. We've seen our success. Now we can even take that next step, knowing that we belong with the best teams in the country.
I mentioned some of the core group that you have, but are there some names, maybe some new faces that we should be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just take you through. Our whole bottom half of our lineup has pretty much changed, okay, from 125 through 57. So at 125, we've plugged in Lucian Brink, who's a little stud from Ohio, state champion. So he's a small town guy, incredibly hard worker, very strong. Again, he's a gas tank motor guy. He's going to keep coming, so you'll enjoy watching him. At 133, Bryce West has moved up from 125, so he's feeling pretty good. He's got a motor running, not spending all week cutting weight, so he's feeling pretty good. At 141, Caleb Brooks, who moved up from 133 last year, so he's doing a good job for us there. A new face at 149, Jayvon Jones, who was our redshirt freshman of the year before, won 15 matches for us, unattached. And so he's finding his way at 149 as he competed most of the year last year at 141. So he's moved into a new weight class too. And then at 157, we've got Anthony Gibson, who moved up from 141. So he bumped up 2 weight classes, which is no easy task. But spent the spring and the summer in the weight room, and he's feeling really good about his wrestling right now. So he's just trying to figure out and kind of fine-tune and wrinkle out or iron out the wrinkles and competing with those guys who have a little more bulk and horsepower up at 157.
Always good to hear about new faces, because that's what this team has been built on. You've got that level where you've got that recruiting come in, that you've got the strong core, but you got some fresh faces each year. We're starting to see more success from those guys. And you mentioned Saturday you're going to be taking on Ohio, Missouri out in Missouri. We know how good Missouri's been. What about Ohio, and what do you see as you take on those two teams?
Yeah, well, with Missouri, these guys are ranked 6th in the country, and they should be. They may be underrated. They are very good. And so for us, we love that. We're running to the challenge, running to the fight, and we see that as nothing but an opportunity for us. So if they've got higher numbers by their names individually, we'd like to go contest for those and get those by our names. We know it's going to be a challenge. And again, you look to that optimistically and positively, and we're excited about it. Ohio always brings a very high level of talent with their squad out there. So we know they're going to be fast. They're going to be strong. They're going to be gifted athletes, and we've got to be on our best to compete with them as well.
I've asked other coaches this, but what's the best part of your job right now? What's the best part about being a head coach of NIU Wrestling?
Best part about, it's the people, really. We've got a great group of young people in there. Our coaching staff, we're all rowing the same way. So that makes it a lot of fun. And the best part about being a head coach of NIU Wrestling right now is being able to get out of the house, right? Get on the road, do what we love in the practice room, and just be able to be in that environment where we can forget about the rest of the strife that's going on, with this COVID and all that kind of stuff, and get back to doing what we love to do, which is get better at wrestling every day.
Coach, I appreciate the time again. Co-MAC Coach of the Year last year. I know you guys had a lot of success. Hopefully you can improve, and hopefully we see more success this year. Good luck this weekend, and I can't wait to see how you guys improve and see where you guys end up at the end of the year.
Thank you very much, Andy. My best to you as well, bud.
Great to hear from all our guests today. Now, this is NIU Basketball Weekly, but if you're missing Husky football, you're in luck. On Monday, February 1st at 6 p.m., hear from NIU head coach Thomas Hammock, the NIU coordinators, and student athletes at the Leaders of the Pack Zoom event. Register today at the link at niuhuskies.com, and you'll be emailed the link to attend this webinar-style Zoom. Submit your question in advance or during the live event. Note that advanced registration is required to participate live. The entire event will air on YouTube right here next day. It'll be back on the next day on YouTube, but you can be part of it live. Go on niuhuskies.com and get on Leaders of the Pack, and you get to hear what NIU football is up to as they get ready for the 2021 season. As we look forward to the sports schedule this week, we mentioned wrestling is on the road, taking on Ohio and Missouri on Saturday. Volleyball is at Bowling Green at 4 p.m. on Saturday. Women's track and field, they're at the Mike Lentz Alumni Meet, Grand Valley. That's all day on Saturday. And women's tennis is at Cincinnati. That starts at 11 a.m. On Sunday, gymnastics at Western Michigan. That'll be at 3 p.m. On Wednesday, NIU women's basketball back in action on the road, taking on Akron. Early game. I'll be on the radio on WLBK and on TuneIn, but it'll also be on TV, ESPN+. Thursday, volleyball at home, taking on Toledo, 6 p.m. I'll have the call, ESPN3. Hopefully you can watch and see Husky volleyball open up their season at home, taking on Toledo. Also on Friday, NIU will be at home on Toledo for that one as well. That's at 4 p.m. Women's track next Friday will be at the Sid Sink Invite. That's at Bowling Green. That's all day. And then women's tennis is at Belpo next Friday at 6 p.m. Is here at home at Chick Evans Fieldhouse. That's at 6 p.m. taking on Belpo. Again, NIU Basketball Weekly. It is premiered every Saturday morning right here, NIU Athletics YouTube page. Subscribe. Game highlights. You're going to see different things like NIU Basketball Weekly. You'll see Leaders of the Pack after that comes out. But subscribe to this and get the latest updates, and you'll see what's happening in NIU athletics. I want to appreciate really my guest today, Lamar Chapman, the interim head coach, NIU men's basketball, for joining me. Mikayla Brandon, the junior forward from Bourbonnais, part of the NIU women's basketball team, and Ryan Ludwig in his 10th season now as a head coach here at NIU Wrestling. Appreciate you joining and watching. Hope you can watch us moving forward right here on the YouTube page. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we can get some wins this week. Until we talk again next week, go Huskies.